Welcome back to the Tech Desk. This has been a big month for technology, with Computex 2024 happening at the beginning of the month, and Apple's WWDC event happening just a few days ago. So here's my rundown for my top picks from tech this month. Computex is a place for tech companies to review all of their computer innovations that they'll be releasing starting from June. Computex is an annual event hosted in Taipei, Taiwan. This year, Computex was hosted between June 4th and June 7th. If I were to review every single thing that was announced at Computex, this video would be hours long. So instead, I'm going to give you my top 3 picks from Computex this year. For my top pick, AMD announced new Strix Point CPUs, which are a big improvement from last year. AMD has promised that performance will be a step above, especially considering last year's lackluster jump between generations. Between AMD's 7000 and 8000 series CPUs, there was not a big jump in performance. Instead, the focus was put more towards AI. However, the new Strix Point CPUs will prove to be both more capable than their 7000 and 8000 series counterparts by a significant margin, and include big improvements to AI. The Strix Point CPUs are stated to have 50 TOPS versus the 16 TOPS on the 8000 series chips. TOPS stands for trillion operations per second, meaning that the new AMD Strix Point CPUs can reach 50 trillion operations per second versus the 8000 series 16 trillion operations per second, which is such a significant improvement it's difficult to quantify. My next pick for top Computex announcements is Asus's newest laptops for the ProArt series. Asus announced 3 new laptops for their ProArt series: the Asus ProArt P16, the Asus ProArt PX13, and the Asus ProArt PZ13. The Asus ProArt P16 is basically an Asus ROG Zephyrus G16, except the screen resolution has gone up to 4K, while the refresh rate has dropped down to 60 Hz. It also features the newest Ryzen Strix Point CPUs. For the PX13 and the PZ13, they are evolutions of the Asus ROG Flow X13 and Z13 respectively. Out of all these laptops, I am most excited for the ProArt PX13. It comes with the newest Ryzen CPUs and has an RTX 4070 packed inside a 13-inch laptop. In fact, I will be bringing you a review of the laptop when it comes out. The Asus ProArt PZ13 is the most unique out of all these laptops. It is a tablet, actually, that comes with an attachable stand and keyboard. This comes with the newest Snapdragon CPUs, making it one of the most powerful AI machines. AI was the theme with these ProArt laptops, as they all come with Copilot buttons replacing the second control buttons on their keyboards. These laptops also came with Asus's new programs called StoryCube and MuseTree. MuseTree is a way to combine AI images together in a form that looks kind of like a family tree. As you combine more and more images, more branches will appear with these new images that you've created and their direct inspiration. StoryCube also uses AI to compile all of your photos and videos into one place, and you can view them in timeline order, or they're simply just there for you to use in any format that you need them in. My third and final pick is the Zotac Zone gaming handheld that was announced at Computex 2024. The Zotac Zone comes with an Ryzen 7 8840U, and it has an 8-inch OLED touchscreen with a 120 Hz refresh rate. The Zone has dual trackpads, and it has a PlayStation-like controller layout which in my opinion is the best layout for a controller to have. The second big tech event for June 2024 was Apple's WWDC event, or Worldwide Developers Conference. This is where Apple makes all of their software announcements for the year. Once again, if I were to go through every single announcement that Apple made, it would take forever. So instead, I'm going to give you my top 2 favorite announcements. The first announcement is a big one for Apple iPad users. As I said in the last episode of Tech Desk, I use my iPad Air with an M1 chip most of the time over using a traditional laptop. However, one big drawback to the iPad is that it doesn't have a native calculator, which means I usually have to stop what I'm doing and go and grab my phone or grab a calculator to complete a calculation that I'm trying to do. Apple announced that they're bringing a native calculator app to iPad, but of course they had to do it in the most Apple way possible. Apple will not just be adding a calculator, they will also be adding a Smart Notes feature exclusive to the iPad calculator app. This feature will allow you to write down equations, and the Apple iPad will answer them for you, even if you write your equations using an Apple Pencil. You can also create and assign variables and make tables and graphs, which is a huge game changer for students like me who need to do complex equations, and it's not always so easy when you don't have something where you can naturally write the equation into. Of course, since it's 2024, the second big announcement from WWDC, which I was super excited about, was Apple Intelligence. Apple has finally decided to give Siri an upgrade, which is long overdue. Going through all of Apple Intelligence's features would take a long time, so you can check the link down below, which will have a link to Apple's website and perhaps a few other websites about Apple Intelligence. However, a major downside to Apple Intelligence is that it will only be on the latest Apple Silicon chips. Apple Intelligence will only be on the A17 Pro, the M1, the M2, the M3, and the M4 chips. This means that Apple Intelligence will only be on the iPhone 15 Pro, the iPhone 15 Pro Max, the iPad Air 5th generation and above, the iPad Pro 5th generation and above, and all MacBooks after 2020. AI was definitely the name of the game for technology in 2024. So, drop any non-AI information that you found very interesting from Computex or WWDC in the comments below. I'll see you next time on the Tech Desk.